Kalansky. I'm a second-year student at MSIH, and I'm originally from Southern California. I have two very different responses when people ask me what it's like here. One is about school, and one is about my friends and my social circle. School is very difficult. It's challenging. It's supposed to be, but it's emotionally draining, and our days are long. It's to be expected, but I think it's always a little bit of a shock. Especially as you get on, it gets like as you progress throughout medical school, it gets more intense. I tell them I'm really excited to be here. I'm happy to be challenged. I finally feel like I'm doing what I want to be doing. When I talk about my friends, I'm glowing. Like I think people here are wonderful. The school attracts a certain kind of student, and it's a student with an adventurous spirit. And I think it's unique to being here. It's a very diverse group of people, but that's something that everybody has in common. So in Beer Sheva, the days are long. So in the morning I get up. If we have class at 8:15, I generally my alarm goes off around 7. I get out of bed around 7:30. Grab whatever breakfast I can, walk to school. Generally see a few of my classmates on my way to school. We have class from about 8 to 12. Then we have class again from about 1 to 4. Sometimes we have Hebrew at 4, sometimes we're done. Then I come home, either I'll go to the gym or go for a run, not every day. And then somehow you try to get enough energy to study for a couple more hours. A couple times a week I'll make dinner with friends and we'll study together, and I think that's really helpful because it's kind of like a nice break just to like eat dinner together, break bread with your friends. But it's also, if you have somebody who's there to help you study, you're more likely to do it. So in second year, the Hebrew class is combined with the class that teaches you the physical exam. So what that means is in the beginning of the year, we learn a lot of anatomy in Hebrew. And then once you start learning the physical exam, you combine your interviewing with the physical exam. So basically, we interviewed patients, and then based on whatever physical exam we're learning, you examine them. Most of the time, they don't have whatever problem we're examining them on, but it's good practice. And we're taught by either 5th or 6th year Israeli medical students. They play games with us to kind of teach us the body parts, and we get little drawings and word searches. So it's fun. It doesn't feel like an academic course, although we have to study for it. And it's actually a really important part of our careers, I think. Learning the physical exam is the first time I felt like a doctor. When I first arrived in Israel for medical school, I expected the culture to be familiar because I have family here and I had spent summers here when I was younger. But when I moved here on my own, I quickly realized that visiting Israel and living in Israel are two very different things. On a macro level, living in Israel can be intimidating and very frustrating at times. But when you get to connect with people, you find that they are warm and generous and hospitable and genuinely interested in getting to know you and sharing their own stories. Often when I interview a patient, they're just as interested in getting to know me and asking me questions as I am in getting to know them. For me, global health is less about going to foreign countries, which surprises people at first. I'm planning on working in the States. And where I grew up in a community that was largely made up of immigrants and families that had immigrated. My own family immigrated to the States. And I think working with immigrants is a really important component of global health that's less sexy than going to work in the jungle somewhere, but I think it's more relevant to my future career. First year we had a little bit more time to do extracurricular activities, and there's a lot of hikes nearby. I like to swim. I like to run. I run mostly for mental reasons rather than physical. Sometimes if I'm really frustrated, I'll go for a run, or sometimes if it's just really nice out and I want to go outside and run and be with nature, I'll run. The Negev is actually really beautiful, especially in the spring. In the summer when you get here, it seems like you're going to die on your way to school from heat exhaustion. But it cools down, surprisingly, and it's actually quite mild in the winter. So Israel has a beautiful coastline on the Mediterranean, and over one of the holiday breaks, a group of, I want to say 10 to 15, maybe even 20 people at one point, went camping for 2 nights on the beach and had a grand old time barbecuing and swimming. Anytime it would get hot, we would just go dip in the water. It was just really great hanging out with your friends in such a beautiful location, and it was so relaxed and laid back. And I've never met such a wonderful group of people that is adventurous and warm and caring and supportive and fun to be around, and genuinely interested in medicine and helping people. Anytime I've struggled with anything academically or even socially or personally, people just rise to the occasion and have helped out. People try and help as much as they can. It's not competitive. Everybody wants to do well, and that's for sure. But people really want to help each other, and they want other people to succeed. And I think that is amazing. People are so warm and helpful when they do that, and that you never feel like you're in a cutthroat environment. And I really still do think people are wonderful.